Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, TheCassanEdit, where I share all things fashion, beauty, and lifestyle, my way of course. My name is Cassandra, but most people call me Cassan for short. Today I'm going to be talking about my home buying journey. I spent so much time relishing and dreaming about the kind of home that I wanted, only for it to happen in the most beautiful way possible in 2021. If any of you guys have it as a goal to purchase a home in 2022, and beyond, this is definitely the video for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. So today I'm wearing a long belted cardigan from Forever 21 that I got back in 2019. This is actually my first time wearing it, and it is so soft and comfortable. I feel like I'm wrapped in a teddy bear. Underneath it, I am wearing a unitard from H&M. It's just this neutral colored long unitard. I bought this and a black one. The black one is knee length, but this one goes all the way down to my ankles, and it is the most comfortable thing that I can have on right now, especially with this bump that I have going on. And then I have this Fendi headband, which I shared with you guys sometime last year, which I was really excited to get, and it goes with my outfit really, really well. I feel like it just brought the whole look together, and I'm still comfortable. And on my feet, I just have my UGG slippers because we are all about comfort over here. All right, first things first, I have to give you guys the background story on my home buying wishes, dreams, etc. I grew up in a part of Boston that is part of the city, but it was the most southern part of the city, and it felt like the suburbs, but it was still part of the city, which comes with a lot of different benefits. For example, when you're a part of a town, there's certain things that you just won't get as far as programs for kids and whatnot. But when you're within a city like Boston, there's so many things available to you. Other things like the school Namaya goes to, if we didn't live within this city, she wouldn't be able to go to that school, and it's a really good school and we don't have to pay for it. So those are all the little perks that come with living in a city. But we have the added luxury of it feeling like we are in the suburbs, because again, it is the most southern part of the city, which means it's furthest away from the actual inner city, which brings about all that towny type of feel, and that is what I grew up in. So since then, I always knew that I wanted to get a home that was in the same part of Boston that I grew up in. Fast forward a little bit to when Namaya was born, like the early 2000s, they started building a cul-de-sac, which they don't do up north. Cul-de-sacs are more popular in the south, but nonetheless, they were building one out in this particular area, which made sense again, because if you're going to choose a part of the city to do anything suburban like that, it would be this area. So I would just drive around there and just see all the different homes, because it was newly developed. All of those homes are brand new, and I told myself, you know what, one day I'm going to have one of these homes on that street, in that cul-de-sac. And this was Namaya 17, so this was like 17 years ago basically. I kept all that in my mind, and once I have like a thought, a dream, I do not depart from it. I stick to it forever. It's always in the back of my mind. So even when I met Arvind, when we got engaged, when we got married, he always knew that I wanted to buy a home in this area, and I showed him the homes in that cul-de-sac. And a few times there were actually some homes that popped up in that cul-de-sac, but they were priced astronomically, because obviously as the years went on, things just started to skyrocket. When Arvind and I got engaged, we started looking and trying to see, you know, what could we find out there, just out of curiosity. And then once we were married, it was just an ongoing, oh, I see this house, let's go check it out. So we've been married for 5 years now. Every year since then, we've always gone to some sort of an open house, and just to see if it'll work for us or whatnot. And we always stayed within the particular area. But I started to get a little worried because the prices were really driving up. And it started to look like we were quite frankly going to be priced out of everything. So then I started to think, okay, maybe we need to just let go of the idea of living in this area that I want to live in, and we need to start looking outside of the city because maybe we'll find better prices there, which we knew we would. But then Arvin's became a firefighter, and he was a Boston firefighter, and you have to live in the city. So that option was completely eliminated. So we absolutely had to do that. And that was a little frustrating because it's not like they were giving any kind of special incentives for home buying for people who were being forced to stay within these cities when they knew that these prices were out of this world. But I kept holding out hope and having faith that, you know what, I know it's crazy, but something's gonna show up. Something's gonna show up. My mom would say things like, you know, you don't have to stick to that area, da 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 da. And she knew who she was talking to when she said that. She knew exactly who she was talking to. I am just like my father. We are relentless when we want something, someplace, whatever it is. We're gonna go after whatever it is that we want. It doesn't matter what anybody says around us. Even though my faith started to get a little shaky when I started seeing those prices. But once we had no choice but to look within the city of Boston, I was just like, that's all right, we're gonna find something. So now we get to 2020. Everything's crazy. There was a serious drought in the market. I looked all winter long, nothing showed up. And that is typically when the market is low. The inventory is low, I should say. I was expecting that, but I didn't expect that there would be absolutely nothing. I would look on the sites. I had the apps on my phone. I'd get alerted about the particular areas, and nothing was showing up at all. Finally, when it got closer to, I think it was April. Finally, when we got to April, something came up, and it looked pretty decent in the area that we wanted. Price was way better than I thought it would be. And I saw a lot of potential. And the other good thing is it looked like it was move-in ready. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should check that out. And at the time, Arvin's was deployed to DC because of all the things that went on with the insurrection. So I had to go about this on my own and just send him videos and text and all of that. All the while, Namaya is going with us to all these open houses throughout the year. So this was no different. I told her about the open house. I kept her informed. I like to keep her informed in that because, you know, I want her to feel like she's also involved, even though we're the ones who are really in charge of this whole process. I saw that open house, I scheduled it, I put it on my calendar, and I was ready to go. That morning, I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, 2 other homes popped up for open house for the same day, and they were literally like 2 blocks from each other. And one was actually across the street from the one I had already planned on seeing. So I went from having 1 open house to 3 open houses just the same morning when I woke up. And none of that stuff showed throughout the week, so I have no idea where it's like it just landed on the sites and it opened up for me to go see. So myself and Namaya, we got up and went to this open house. I told her, I was like, I don't know what happened, but we went from going to 1 open house to now 3 open houses. So we have 3 open houses to go to today. So that's what we're gonna do. Our whole morning was planned around these open houses. We went to the first home, which was the one that I originally saw, and the one that I was banking on the most. One, because it was a good price point. The other 2 were also good, but I felt like this first one had better potential for the price. And then the third one was a little bit out of our price range, but I was just like, let's just go. I was treating it like window shopping. I'm like, even if we know we're not gonna get this, we're definitely gonna go and check it out. And that's what we basically did. We went to go see that first one. Funny enough, that was the one that we liked the least. And from all the pictures, I could have sworn that I would have liked that one the most. So it was interesting that it turned out that way. Now we go to the last open house, and the last open house was a brand new build, ready to move in, all of that. So we look around. Usually we go to all the open houses and then I wait to see what Namaya feels, and I ask her what she likes the most. So she said she liked that last house that we saw the most. while we were in there, I was like, well, I don't know if this one will be it because it's way more expensive than all the other ones that we saw today. So I don't know if this one will be it, but we'll see. What I also did was I took a video tour of every single home that we visited that day and I sent it to Arvin's. I didn't put any opinions. I just sent it and I said which one because I didn't want to sway him in any way. He came back and said he liked the last one as well. And I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. So now we know, okay, we like the last one the most. But the last one is the most expensive out of every single home. Quite frankly, I told him, you know what? We may want this, but this house is going to be gone tomorrow. It's a brand new build in a desirable part of the city. No one's leaving this just like it is. It's going to be gone tomorrow. Regardless, I knew that one of the three that we saw that day would be one that we'd go after. So we needed to sit down and figure out, okay, which one are we going to go with? And we go about our weekend and we leave off at that. Next day, you guys, the price dropped on the house. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it went down. Here I am thinking, this thing is going to be under contract by the end of Sunday, which was the day we went to go see it. And it drops in price the next day. And it dropped a pretty significant amount. I knew this because I got alerted through the app on my phone. So I hurry up and I call Arvin's and I'm like, babe, you're not going to believe what happened. The house dropped in price. And he's like, what? I'm like, yes, the house dropped in price. So we're like, all right, let's get things started. Let's go ahead and get things started. We contact the realtor and there's a particular loan that we wanted to go with. And he almost said that we wouldn't be able to go with that one. It was something that the builder had to agree to, which most people, they're like, nah, we're going to pass. The builder agreed. Once the realtor told us that the builder had absolutely no problem doing what needed to be done so we can actually use that particular loan, we were good to go. So the next step was to have a conversation with a loan officer. So we had a meeting with a loan officer. That meeting was basically for us to get the pre-approval. We got the pre-approval that same exact day and it was smooth sailing from there. The house that I had all the intention of just going in and looking at, like I was window shopping, because I'm like, it was basically like, you know when you go window shopping and you're like, yeah, that's too much money, I'm not buying that, but it's nice to look at. That is basically what I did when I walked into this house. I was like, oh, it's nice, but it's not gonna be ours. That is how I felt, as optimistic as I am, because I don't even like to say that word. I guess I was being realistic, right? It didn't matter. We actually live in the house that I didn't feel like we were going to live with. I swore on everything one of those other houses that we saw that day was going to be ours. And then the more we got into the process, the more I was like, wow, I think this is going to be ours. And actually, I'm skipping a part because we went to DC after that. I actually dropped everything. I let it go. Even when we knew that the price dropped, I was just like, I don't think we're going to get things moving fast enough before somebody else puts in an offer. So it was one of those things where it was like out of sight, out of mind, didn't think about it anymore. Went to DC, had a good old time to visit Arvin, came back, saw the house posted for open house again. That's when I called Arvin's and I'm like, okay, the house still didn't sell. So this time I did another video shot for him, and because he's away, and I didn't think he would necessarily care because he's not one who cares for things like that, but this time he really did. I took a nice thorough video for him again and sent it to him, and he's like, yeah, I like it. So then that's when I had the conversation with the realtor and we moved on, spoke to the loan officer, and things started to move from there. And then Mother's Day weekend, we found out that the builder accepted our offer. And that was all she wrote from there. There were no hiccups at all. It is the smoothest home buying process I could have ever imagined. And guys, the icing on the cake, do you want to know the icing on the cake? That cul-de-sac that I said that I loved and wanted to purchase a house in, the builder of my house is the same exact builder from that cul-de-sac that I used to drive through all the time. So I may not be in that cul-de-sac. This is so crazy to me. I may not be in that cul-de-sac, but I have a home that is built from the builder of an area that I dreamed so much of living in. And I only live right around the corner from there. It's like, if that doesn't tell you to just go after what it is that you want, I don't know. I don't know. All of this just blows my mind. There are so many little details that I can't even go into that just cemented the fact that this was meant to be for us. I don't even know. To be honest with you, you guys might think I'm crazy, but those of you who are dreamers will relate with me. The week that we were going to close on this house, we found our forever home, because this is not our forever home. We wanted to find something that when we move out, we'll be able to rent it. It'll still be a type of home that's feasible to rent, and then we can have something else where we'll be able to have more land and yada, 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 because again, we're in the city. So the same week we closed on our home, we found our dream home. Now our dream home, right? I can't wait to just like fill you guys in on this process, because something about this makes me feel like it's mine already. But we went to go see the home and I was like, oh wow, this would definitely, the area, everything, it would be perfect for our forever home. And it's something that we would need to work towards, and we would obviously not be ready to get it right now because we just got this one. And I was just like, dang, if there was a way to just put like a placeholder to just hold your spot, like that would be bomb. I don't know what happened, but the owner decided they wanted to hold off on selling all of a sudden. I'm not talking about, again, I'm talking about the dream home. Owner decided they just wanted to hold off. Like, the realtor called me and everything, and I was just like, God is up to something. I don't know. To be continued. I will fill you guys in. This process was just another realization to me that when you really just believe what you believe and go after it. I mean, we searched for homes for at least 5 years, and the last 3 years we were pretty aggressive about it, and I didn't lose hope. The summer 2020, I swear we found a home, to the point where the owners of the home that I thought we found were both firefighters, and I was like, that's a sign. That's a sign. It's ours. So if any of you hopefuls are out there who think the same way I do and see different signs and you're like, oh my gosh, this must be it, and then something falls through or doesn't happen, don't be discouraged. I swore that was going to be our house, and let me tell you, I would be so upset if I was living in that house instead of this one, knowing that I could have gotten this one. Like, if there was a way for me to know that, I'd be upset. This home exceeds all our expectations. God gave me way more than what I actually wanted. I would have been fine with less bedrooms. I would have been fine with it not being a new build. I would have been fine. A lot of things I would have been fine with. But then God just like put the icing on the cake and said, this was for you. There were too many signs, too many things that pointed to us and let us know that God put this here for us. We were praying, we were fasting. The wonderful, amazing people that we were praying with, they had so much faith and belief as well, and they were always just like, God already knows where he's going to put you. You just need to wait for the time. He already knows. And to think that this is what he had in mind, I'm speechless. I'm literally speechless. By this happening to my family the way that it did, it gave everyone around us permission to just dream bigger dreams than they ever thought they could imagine. I feel like it just opened the gateway, which is why I was just like, oh, we're not even in the home that we're about to get, and we're already setting our sights on our forever home. Why not? Why not? Because once you start living in those dreams, you become audacious like that. You don't feel like there's anything you can't do. This is a message to all of you who are dreaming of a home, want to get this home. I mean, I have a friend right now who the next step, she just got her dream job, and now the next step is for her to be able to buy a home. I hear her say to me, like, seeing how it happened for you and Arvin's, I love the excitement that I hear from her, because it's all possible. There's nothing special about me and Arvin's for this to have happened to us the way that it did. That second open house, I walked in here and there was just this feeling that I got. And I even did a video. I did a video, you guys. And I said, this house is gonna be ours. Didn't know how, didn't know when. I just was like, this is gonna be ours. And I was actually right there in the bathroom. I'll put a clip of it. Guys, this isn't even my house yet, but I'm manifesting this. This is gonna be ours. And what happened? This house is ours. So, if there's nothing else that you do for 2022, is give yourself permission to dream your wildest dreams. Go to the things that you think that are way out of your reach. You'll be surprised how God works to make sure that that very thing that you think that you can't get is in your hands. One tidbit that I almost forgot, which really cemented how much this house was for us, was our neighbors. I got the home. The realtor was always talking about who the neighbor is, and you know, the neighbor on the other side, you know, they're doing different things to their unit, because we already knew that we wanted to get our floors done over. So he was like, oh, that's funny, the neighbor also wanted to do their floors over. And I was just like, in my mind, I had a vision of who this neighbor was, and I hadn't met them. And then somewhere along the process, I think when we came for the home inspection, I got a chance to meet her. My wish list for a neighbor was, one was, I really wanted to have a black neighbor, because I wanted to feel like I was part of a community that looked like me. So that was important to me, even though this part of the city is very diverse to begin with. But because we're so much further out, I didn't want it to be like we were the only black family in the neighborhood. So that was one. Then further along in the process, once we actually owned the home and we were going through the moving process, our neighbor needed a favor from us. I was like, no problem. We just can't do Saturdays because of our religion. And he said, are you Seventh Day? And I said, yeah. And he's like, so are we. I'm like, no. No. Like, what are the odds? Like, I'm Seventh-day Adventist. I think I've mentioned this a few times on this channel, but the odds of a Seventh-day Adventist being our actual neighbor are very low. Maybe a Christian, but not the same exact religion as myself. My jaw dropped to the floor. We all did. We were like, no. Like, no. I was praying and praying and praying so much over this process. And this is how God flipped the script. Don't ever think that God's not going to give you what you asked for. I didn't ask to have a neighbor who was the same exact religion as me. I did not. I just simply said, I just want to have a neighbor who looks like me. That's all. I asked him for that. And what does he go and do? Puts the cherry on top. And that is what kept happening throughout this entire process, which just blew our minds over and over again. Once I found that out, I said that to my girls, like, y'all are not going to believe the neighbor is Seventh-day Adventist. All their reactions were like, oh, wow, look at God. And then when I told my mom was like, no way. No way. All of it seemed way too good to be true. But I do believe that when you really just have the faith the size of a mustard seed, God just shows out on you. And I feel like I have way more than a mustard seed of faith. And this is how it turned out. I'm just giving you all these little details because I never imagined this would have happened the way that it did. And now we are living in a new build in the area of my choice, the #1 area of my choice, with neighbors who share the same faith as myself, who look like me. So there's no misunderstandings. They know what I believe in. They know what I do. They know, like, because we also have like food restrictions. They know what I can eat, what I can't eat. For the holidays, they sent over a beautiful, delicious rum cake because they're Jamaican. Of course, I am thrilled that I also have Caribbean neighbors. Like, enough said. Enough said. I hope this helped someone. I don't care if it helped one person, but please believe me, we hear this cliche, dream big, da, 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 da. It is not a cliche. Have faith, work towards it. I told you we were going to open houses for like 5 years straight. I did not stop. If it didn't work out, if I didn't get that feeling, I was fine. And the other thing about this home too, the realtor said they were going to get back to me about something. Right then and there when they said that, I was like, you know what? If it's meant to be, they're going to get back to me. If they don't, oh well, I'm not going to chase them. Sure enough, he got back to me next day, and he was a man of his word the entire way through. We had a smooth process from beginning to end because of him. We had such an amazing realtor. He hooked us up with all the right people. We closed on the very day that he told us that we would end up closing. I hope that this encouraged all of you and gives you the juice that you need to go after what you want for 2022. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification down below so that you do not miss any of my videos. The next video will most likely be what I purchased my first trimester, and we are gonna get right into the swing of things with what I know you guys want from me. So yes, the fashions are coming, and also make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can see all my latest posts. I've started posting on there. I will continue to post on there regularly, and I will see you guys next time. Bye y'all.